by that time, I had 5 years of get married pressure, right? And I had, he's recording it, but yeah, please edit it. I'm your best friend. I know. Yeah, okay. Right, so till then, we had all this family pressure, and I met about 15 guys. And one of it was like really so funny because I happened to open the door and they just came in and they sat down. So I'm also sitting down and talking to them like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing all of this, what are you doing? And all of that. And I'm all sitting and after half an hour there's this eerie silence, okay? I'm like, what? They're like, we're waiting for the girl to come with the place. I'm like, I'm the girl, I opened the door, it's me. So, it was crazy. It was crazy because you're used to an environment with your parents. My parents have never differentiated. We're a set of siblings. I think almost all my cousins are all males, right? So being a tomboy, you have fun, you go play with boys, you do all the treasure hunt, and then suddenly this thing is thrown into your face saying you're a lady now. Right? Okay, I'm a lady, so you have to dress up, you have to get tea, you have to do. So I was like, all great. My career was going fine, I wanted to do more stuff, but then this whole thing about marriage, and I call her courageous because I think she is. She's at a life stage which I'm really scared to go to, right? So, so then it all happened, and then marriage eventually happened, but it changed a lot for me. It changed in the sense that if there is an economic issue at home, I need to also be the breadwinner. I think a lot of ladies who have breadwinner husbands are really lucky, because a lot of times in Bangalore we take, we're all families, and I think family is so important for me because without family you're nothing. And for a lady, it's, you have your parents as one family and you have your in-laws in the other family, and we're somehow supposed to be superhuman beings, right? So we're supposed to take care of both, and because we're independent, we're supposed to take care of both the families economically, financially, and emotionally. It's like, it's all of that, right? So, yeah, so would I have done things differently if I was not married? Yes, for sure. I think I would have gone a lot more places than I would have. But am I happy in my marriage? Yes, so please don't get the wrong impression that I'm doing an opera right here. I'm not, right? So I think what I meant to say was you have to take those calls, right? And sometimes you're lucky to get the husband you want, and sometimes you're not lucky to get the husband you want. You have to love them anyway, right? So yeah, I mean that's how it is. It's family, right? You can't run away from family. So then what happened? So then I was here saying that we see NRM, we've been in the board meetings, and I'm like, when I open my company, I'm going to be like him, right? You have all that. So then marriage happens, and then like, okay, I won't be like him. Maybe I'll be like his wife. So all that happened. So my E2E plans was like, we were doing 100% growth YOY, and then we said, okay, I'm like, let's, do it slow, because I still haven't understood the word selfish, because I feel that if you are happy, you can keep people happy around you. If you're healthy, you can keep people healthy around you. And I never really understood why nutrition, even within families, why women are treated differently. I'm not talking about my family, but I'm just talking, like she said in my introduction, I do a lot for women in various platforms, and I find that if there is food in the house, the most nutritious one is given to the children, then the husband, and then the woman. And I've seen breastfeeding mothers not getting nutrition because she's a mother, right? Anyway, so whoever said you have to settle down, and that meant marriage, I don't know. Okay. So then what I said was, I have to do more because, our upbringing has been that for us, I really love my country, and I'm proud to say I'm an Indian. Forget women, forget everything. I think our country is a great country. We have very, very rich heritage. And yes, we had America to tell us that yoga is powerful. They're the marketing people, they can't help it. But the fact that it goes there and then becomes fashionable and then comes months back is like, I'm like, okay, whatever, right? So then I had these causes which were larger than my company maybe. So maybe that way I'm not like a true entrepreneur or something. I don't know whether I will be. But you know, company was profitable, then I said let me go on and create other platforms, right? So we set up, so I moved into education because I felt education is the space where this develops, the mindset develops. And if you're just more and more about rote, more and more about by hearting, more and more about exams, more and more about numbers, you just forget the names. I mean, you know, like we say, your Mrs. So-and-so, our names are lost. It's like that in education. What's your percentage? I mean, I have a name. You know, I have all of that. What's your percentage? Percentage just one the path hai. No, so somewhere we've gone so much around that, and so many people are so creative that it's nuts that we're chasing. And education somehow prepares you, and I'm so happy, I'm not going to repeat that, but I'm so happy she brought it up, that there is so much of pressure on taking a job. I'm like, why don't you create your own job? Right? Why do you have to be told that you have to dress like this, that your resume should be made like this? You have to go and say, yes sir. No, I mean, we're human beings, and I think we're intelligent enough to figure out how to behave. I'm sure we won't go to an interview and slap the other guy. You know, we're pretty much there. So this overemphasis on everything being correct, and we don't know what correct is. We'll never know what correct is. That's life, right? So we dabbled in education. We're coming up with new courses. So I work very intensively with the Jain Group of Institutions. So we're trying to change that mindset. We're trying to get entrepreneur clubs out, and I think my colleague will be happy with that. Then I moved into the funding space, which is completely male dominated, right? So that's where I was talking to them saying, I fund, and I funded companies before, but I'm not up there. It's all a male panel up there in the auditorium. So somewhere they have not got it, saying a lady can also fund businesses, right? Not necessarily create one, but also fund, right? So I moved into the funding space. We were sector agnostic, and again, this experience has taught me a lot. I think from a funding perspective, bankers tend to see women a little differently. I think women are more open to private equity or, you know, that kind of money, not necessarily banks, because I got really frustrated when we were fighting a few cases with the banks, and they said, the business plan is great, she's very passionate, but I think she's going to have a kid. I'm like, of course, the man cannot have the kid. The science has not progressed to that level. What's that got to do with the business? We get that question even when we are in jobs, right? Like, you're very good, but when do you want to get married? I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So, you know, so I think from an entrepreneurship perspective, a woman is treated a little differently, because I think the whole onus on society and family is still with the lady, and we do a damn good job of it, right? So we have to be happy about it. So that led me to studying and getting myself educated on what are the different schemes available for women entrepreneurs. And I found out that the government is actually a very women-friendly government. We don't need Sonia Gandhi for that, but we are, okay? There are schemes like, you know, if you want to get your quality certification, the fee is waived off. Microsoft, and she's worked with Microsoft, they have licenses that they give it to you free if you're in your first 3 years of business. There are bank interest rates that are lower if you happen to be a woman. And if you really want to do things on a global scale, there's something called We Connect. It's all about we and not me, right, with women. So, you know, it takes you on a global scale. That it's like you heard the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce presentation. So it's something like that for ladies, which says that if you own more than 50% equity in your company, then they will help you get clients. And I think you guys should become members of that, because I mean, I've really seen businesses grow because of those networks, right? But you need to have more than 50% stake. And that will also mean how you legally structure. You know, you may be doing really well in your company, but as a proprietorship firm. So there is so much of need to actually train people on business. It's not about your balance sheets or your stuff. There are a lot of schemes, and the legal structures, the tax implications, everything is different, right? So I think from a foundation perspective, she's doing a fabulous job. I didn't know till I heard your introduction about promoting new startups and entrepreneurs, and that's fabulous. I think if they can also have the structuring bit, I mean, there are so many training programs that actually need to happen, because we are young, we're vibrant, and we're happy to be both, right? We just need a little bit of support, a little bit of a kick sometimes to just go out there and do it. But we need support, and more than that, I don't think we need a lot of support. It's just those times when we look back, we just want somebody saying, don't worry, go ahead and do it, and that's what happens. So I think my life is a classic example of how uncheckered it can be. Right, and I'm still standing here. And one of the things that I'm really proud of achieving was with the Confederation of Indian Industry, the CII. I'm a part of the Women's Leaders Forum. Because you're a woman, you get into all these things. And I don't think we're here on this stage because we're women. I wanted to make that disclaimer. I think we're here because we're successful. I don't think we're here because we're women and we want to make a good show of it. So one of the things that we did in CII was very simple. On the Women's Day, we said we're not going to celebrate Women's Day.
Get to Rangoli and all those things.
Yeah, if you have the courage, absolutely. If you have the courage, let's put a Men's Day out there. Yeah, let's go and celebrate a Men's Day. We don't want Women's Day. But because it was so whatever, right? So we said we will make a Women's Day, but we will make it more diversified.